cracking, gang? It's T Nasty, and I'm back with another banger for you guys. And today we got the Inferno background. We got the red lights on because I am on demon time. I am on prime rage baiting energy. Um, this video is definitely going to be some engagement farming because I'm here to give you guys my UFC hot takes that I know you guys will be wanting to cancel me for. These, are definitely kind of designed to piss you guys off, to encourage you guys to go down and comment and let me know how much you disagree. But to an extent, I definitely believe all of these hot takes, and these are just my opinions that I believe people would completely disagree with. And so, yeah, I'm here to piss you guys off. I'm on demon time today, as per usual. And so before we get into these hot takes, make sure to go down and subscribe. We're on the road to 500, just hit 250 a few days ago. So go subscribe if you want some more of this great content. We got the picks that went up yesterday, 100% accurate and completely true picks that will give you free money and 100% factual takes. So make sure to subscribe if you want to see a little bit more of that. But with that being said, let's get right down into business with these hot takes. So first one, Jon Jones is not the GOAT, okay? If you guys know me, you probably knew this one was coming. And, there's a couple aspects to this I want to get into. I talked about this at length in the video I did like about a year ago whenever, this whole debate was huge right after the last time Jon Jones fought. But like the main reason I say this is because, for one, like I think there's a difference between the greatest fighter ever and the best fighter ever, or like in any sport. I think there's a difference between the greatest ever and the best ever, right? There's the guys who are like easily the most skilled guys ever, and there's no debate. And I think that is probably where Jon Jones falls. Like, this guy is for sure probably the best fighter we've ever seen, the most complete fighter, very extremely well-rounded, high skill level, good finishing ability, good chin, all that shit. I mean, it's just like, it's hard to debate how good Jon Jones is as a fighter. But when we're talking about the greatest ever, like, we need to be talking about someone who's like a good representative of the sport, a good human being. Like this is the guy that we want to represent MMA. Okay, so even if you took away the steroids, the cheating in the cage, the beating his wife, the disrespecting police, the dickhead arrogant attitude, the being gay, the getting bricked up around Hasbullah, just all that shit that makes him into like just a horrible piece of shit human being, like worthless piece of trash. Even if you took all of that shit away, I think this guy has an absolutely fucking fraudulent legacy. And that's what we're going to be doing right now. We're going to be going through and breaking down this absolutely fraudulent legacy. Okay, so the first big win that he got in the UFC, Mauricio Shogun Rua, old and washed and just not even that good in the UFC in the first place. This guy was much better in the Pride rule set with the grounded knees and stomps and soccer kicks. We'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, Mauricio Shogun Rua, overrated win. Quentin Rampage Jackson, that's a good win. I'll give him that. Lyoto Machida, former middleweight, way too small for him. Rashad Evans, that's a solid win, but also former middleweight. Vitor Belfort, former middleweight, and was only ever good because of steroids and TRT. Chael Sonnen, same thing, former middleweight, was only ever good because of steroids and TRT. And also, this guy just had no business being in that title fight in the first place, did not deserve a title shot. And this guy lost every big fight, every title fight he was ever in. And yeah, just a very overrated win by Jon Jones. Alexander Gustafsson fight, he lost that shit. I don't care what anyone says. Great fight, really entertaining, but he fucking lost. Glover Teixeira, now that's a good win, aged pretty well. Obviously, Glover Teixeira went on to become champion at 42 years of age, so that's a pretty good fucking win for Jon Jones, especially when Glover was young. Daniel Cormier, the first fight, that's a good win. I'll give him that one. That's 3 good wins on the resume. Next one is Ovin St. Preux. I mean, that says it all. I mean, this is after Jon Jones got stripped of the title and came back to fight Ovin St. Preux for the interim belt. Beat him by unanimous decision, by the way. Couldn't even finish Ovin St. Preux. That says a lot. After all the steroids, he came back and was not as good after that. I mean, it's all finishes until that point. That's when it starts becoming decisions every fucking time. And then, the second Daniel Cormier win, that one also a good win, but it was overturned to a contest because he tested positive for steroids. Alexander Gustafsson, he did get the finish in the second fight in the rematch, but once again tested positive for steroids. The win was not overturned though. Unbelievably. Next one, Anthony Smith. I mean, Couldn't even finish Anthony fucking Smith. That says it all right there. And also, he almost lost the belt to him via DQ. Thiago Santos, split decision. I almost lost that fight. I think that was a pretty close fight, and it could have gone either way. Dominic Reyes, somehow unanimous decision. He fucking lost that shit. Go back and watch that shit. Reyes 1, 2, 3. And rounds 4 and 5, John Jones didn't do shit besides try to take him down and hug for dear life. He fucking lost that fight. Cyril Gane, that fight was fucking fixed. And then Stipe Miocic. I mean, 42, 43-year-old Stipe. And he was getting tagged up by Stipe on the feet until the finish. So, yeah, I mean, just John Jones has a fraudulent-ass legacy. He does have a few things going for him to say he's got. I mean, he's got some records. He's got the most positive drug test failures in the UFC history and the most title strippings in UFC history. I mean, you can't deny great lists like that. But yeah, like I said, even if you take away the wife beating, the being gay, the steroids, the criminal activity, all of that shit that just makes him into a horrible human being and makes him a terrible representative from the sport. Even if you take that away, he has a fraudulent ass legacy, and John Jones is not the fucking GOAT. So let me know down below how you feel about that, how much you disagree, and I'll be there to let you know how you are wrong. Okay. Now next one on the list. Now, before all of the Dagestani fans in the comments start coming after me, the champion is not always the best fighter in the division. Now, the reason I put these two guys here, okay, is because I think these two guys are absolute proof of the fact that the champion is not always the best fighter in the division. And now listen, not because of what you're thinking, okay? I know you're thinking I'm saying these guys are not the best in the division right now. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying these two guys were the best in their division long before they ever won the title, okay? Merab Dvalishvili, he's been in the best in the bantamweight division probably since Aljo was the champ, if not before. And the only reason he never fought for the title back then is because him and Aljo were friends. And then Aljo lost the belt to Sean, and then Sean had to defend against Cheeto, and then finally Sean defended against Merab. Merab becomes champ, and now he's cemented himself as one of the greatest bantamweights ever. And like, even during that time when he wasn't champion, this guy was for sure the best fighter in the fucking division. And then same thing with Islam. Islam had a long road to the title. He was on like a 12-fight win streak before he got his title shot. And people said he didn't even deserve the title shot when he fought against Charles because he didn't have any top wins, but it doesn't fucking matter, okay? This guy was the best in the division long before then. Like, go back in time to whenever Islam was fighting Drew Dober, put him against Charles Oliveira, the champion at that time. I guarantee you Islam would win the same fucking way, okay? Islam was the best fighter in the lightweight division, and now the best fighter in the welterweight division too, long before he became the fucking champion. Like, go back to whenever Leon Edwards was champion, have Islam move up and face Leon Edwards. Who's fucking winning that fight, okay? Islam has been the best 155er and 170 pounder for a long time before he ever won the title. And this is the case in a lot of the time. You know, we see all the time where these guys, they'll be like ranked, 10 to 11, 12, and they'll get a huge fight against the number 1 contender, the number 2 contender, Sean O'Malley, Umar Nurmagomedov, right? And they come in and they win these fucking fights and they prove that they belong at the top of the division. And that shit just shows that the best fighter in the division, it has nothing to do with where they're ranked or if they're the champion. It has to do with skills, okay? And the skills are the same regardless of, where they are in the division and all that. Like, when a lot of the times who is the champion and who's getting title fights is a matter of circumstance, not of who is the actual, the most deserving contender and all this fucking random bullshit that does not matter. Okay? It's because of circumstance. Who's the guy who's not injured? Who's the guy who's willing to fight in, this certain area that the UFC wants to go to, and the other guy doesn't want to because of taxes or some stupid bullshit like that. Like, who the guy who the champion is not always the best fighter in the division. And I think these two guys and a bunch of other scenarios in general, I think absolutely prove this to be fact. And if you disagree, you are just simply wrong. I think this is factual, and I think that just proves it right there. So next hot take: the pound for pound debate is meaningless and completely arbitrary. I have a whole video about the pound for pound debate, about the GOAT debate. Like, this shit is just stupid. Like, there's no definition of what pound for pound fucking means. Like, everybody views it differently. For me, I view pound for pound as the guys who are the best at any weight class, right? So I really value guys who are 2-weight world champions who move back and forth between divisions. I think those guys are the guys who deserve to be at the top of the pound for pound list. But a lot of people that just think it's based on resume or like who has the best wins or like some stupid shit like that, and like that's why Ilia Topuria is pound for pound number one right now. And in my opinion, he should have never been pound for pound number one. Should have never been above Islam, even before Islam moved up and fought Jack. Which I don't know. I haven't seen the rankings since they put him out yet. Probably like yesterday or something. And I bet you Islam's number one again now. But even before then, Islam should have been above Ilia because Islam is the most skilled fighter in the world right now. And pound for pound, he would beat anybody. But they give it to Ilia because he has wins over Volk, Max, and Charles back to back to back, which is very fucking impressive. Like he should be 2 probably, maybe 3 behind Merab, but I just think it's meaningless. I think it's like so arbitrary. Like we're all arguing shit that doesn't fucking matter in the first place. We all have different definitions of what it means. And it just doesn't make any sense whenever like you get down to it. Like we need like if we need to have a pound for pound rankings list, there needs to be official criteria for how it's ranked. And it needs to like it always changes too. It's just so stupid. Like if you remember back in the day, whenever Volk and Islam fought the first time, Volk was number 1 when they fought, right? Islam beats Volkanovski, but somehow doesn't get put above him in the rankings. Like that doesn't make any fucking sense. Like how do you beat the number 1 pound for pound fighter in the world, but he is still the number 1 and you're number 2? Like that makes no fucking sense. This debate means fucking literally nothing and it's completely arbitrary. We all think of it in different ways. And nobody agrees on the pound for pound rankings. It's just like a bunch of jabronis who work at like MMAJunkie.com deciding this shit. And it just makes no fucking sense. Completely arbitrary. And we're arguing for no fucking reason. We'll never get anywhere with this debate. And it's literally always just going to change for no fucking reason. For some reason, Pantoja isn't in the top 5 pound for pound, which makes no fucking sense. This dude is one of the best fighters in the world. And just because he's small doesn't mean he deserves to be at the bottom of the pound for pound. Because pound for pound to me means it doesn't matter how much you weigh. It's who is the best fighter, right? But everybody thinks of it differently, so the rankings are in some stupid ass order, and it like I don't even know why I'm talking about this. It makes no sense. It's completely arbitrary, like I said. This one pisses me off. This one I think is 100% facts. Next up on the list. Now this one I'm definitely might have the Dagestani rats coming at me again for this one. Grappling is fucking boring. Okay, I don't care what anyone says. We need to remove grappling from the UFC. This shit is ridiculous. Like I can appreciate whenever we go to the ground and there's some good scrambles. That's why I love my boy JDM. I love submissions for sure, especially whenever you're like breaking people's arms and getting like violent with it. I love like some nasty ass ground and pound. But like these guys who just take each other down and like lay on them, especially the fucking cage clinching, like I think that's just so fucking boring. And I don't know how anybody can like to watch it. Like on the one hand, this is a sport, but on the other hand, this is fucking entertainment, okay? Like, and people want to watch it that is entertaining. That's why nobody watches golf. That's why nobody watches like I love baseball, but nobody fucking watches that shit because it's fucking boring, okay? And same thing with grappling and MMA. Anytime I have the boys over to watch the fights, especially the casuals, as soon as it goes to the ground, they're fucking whipping out the phones. They're not paying no attention. All the boys were fucking like, the only reason anybody enjoyed this main event last weekend was because they are biased as fuck towards Islam and all the Dagestani Muslim fighters. Okay, if you cannot tell me that you watched this fucking fight and fucking thought it was entertaining, like that, you were just wrong, and you were fucking lying to everybody and to yourself if you enjoyed that fucking fight. That shit was so boring. The only reason I was even watching and paying attention was because I was fucking praying for JDM to pull the Hail Mary. And if I had no investment, I would have been bored as fuck watching that fucking main event. And if you were not bored, you were lying. And the most annoying part about this is you'll have, like these nerds, and they'll be like, actually, if you don't like grappling, go watch kickboxing. And it's like, shut the fuck up, okay? That shit is stupid as fuck, okay? This is MMA, and we want people to have entertaining fights and to actually go out there and scrap, okay? That's not, like, this sport is not made for guys to fucking just lay on each other and fucking get, like, a control time win. Like, you were made to fight, to fucking hurt your opponent and beat their fucking ass. That's what we're here to see. We're not here to see you guys fucking lay on each other, and that shit is boring. This is a hill I will fucking die on. I don't care. Remove grappling from the UFC. It is just absolutely ridiculous. Okay, next hot take. Dana White's Contender Series is way better than actual UFC cards. And then, like, to go along with this, I also say scouting prospects is way more fun than following, like, the top-level fighters. Okay, so the reason I say this, if you guys watch this, the most recent Contender Series season, especially, like, at pretty much every single week except for week 1 was an absolute fucking banger. Like, at least 3 to 4, if not all 5 fights every fucking week are just so fucking good. They're either, like, a back-and-forth fucking war with both guys fighting their fucking ass off, fighting their hearts out, trying to get that Contender Series contract, or you see some absolutely insane fucking CTE Society KOs, some sweet submissions. Like, these guys are out there fighting their fucking asses off on Contender Series. And it's way different than the UFC, you know, because like in the UFC, the way it works is these guys are getting paid half of their purse to show up and half of their purse to win, right? So these guys, they're coming to win. They're not coming to actually fucking fight and entertain the fans, because if they don't win, they go home with half their fucking paycheck, and they're making like $10,000 in the first place. Like, it's just absolutely ridiculous the way the pay structure works. And I think that is why we see a lot of these UFC fight night cards and pay-per-views have boring ass fights, because these guys are coming out there and they need to fucking win this fight more than anything. You know, they're not actually trying to like go out there and impress anybody, put on a show for the fans. You know, they're going out there to get that win so they can get their paycheck, right? The Contender Series is the fucking complete opposite. You know, this is their fucking life. If they don't go out there and entertain Dana and make him feel like he needs to have them in the UFC, he's just gonna fucking pass. And they're gonna be back in the fucking LFA and fucking Jungle Fight or wherever the fuck they came from. And these guys, they have to go in there and fight their fucking asses off, do whatever they can to get that contract. And that's why you see some absolutely insane wars. That's why you see crazy ass knockouts. Another thing, you know, the matchmaking on Contender Series is a little spotty sometimes, you know, because that's just kind of the thing about the regional scene, is like you either get guys who are obviously like really good, really like high level and like belong in the UFC, and then there's also guys who like have some like fraudulent like 8 or 9-0 record against absolute fucking cans. And, you know, I don't think Sean and Mick are really like going like too in depth with their research into like the opponents of these guys. And that's why sometimes you see dudes who absolutely fucking suck and you see some like total mismatches on Contender Series. But there's nothing wrong with that, because that's what tends to lead to these crazy ass knockouts and finishes that we see on there. And that's just what makes a Contender Series so fun. You know, there's either some complete mismatches or there's absolute fucking wars between two guys who are both UFC ready. And yeah, you just have to watch a Contender Series, because like if you go back to like season 1, season 2, season 3, there's so many guys in the UFC now who like didn't even win those fights and ended up getting signed in the future anyways. They get second shots in Contender Series. They get, you know, short notice fights in the UFC. And like if you're watching the Contender Series, like all the guys that are made up of the prelims and the main cards nowadays, you recognize these guys because you're watching the show, right? And that's why for me, I love scouting prospects, because like it's just like, you know, I've been around the sport long enough to know that like the top fighters, you know, they're like, it's kind of the same way, you know, the top fighters aren't like, you know, they're pretty inactive. They fight, you know, you're lucky to get 2 fights a year out of like the top ranked guys. And yeah, you know, they're way more concerned about, you know, their ranking and getting to the title. And so they played a lot more safe with the way they fight and the way they, you know, take fights and all that. And the guys in the lower level, like the prospects who are coming up, like these are the guys who are taking risks. They're trying to put their name out there. They're fighting often. They're putting on really good performances. And that's just more fun to me, is scouting the prospects, seeing the guys who I think will be you know, big names in the future. Like go watch my video I made about fighters I knew would be champion. Like that's my favorite thing, is finding a guy and being like, okay, that guy, I know he's gonna be a fucking problem in the UFC. I know he's gonna be a champion one day. I fucking love that shit. And I you know, you got to be watching the prelims. You got to be watching Contender Series, because this is how you're gonna see the future names of the sport, right? I got this poster on my wall right here from whenever I went to UFC St. Louis in 2018, right? You know who was on the fucking prelims of UFC St. Louis in 2018? Who's on this poster on my wall right here on the fucking, you know, bottom part of that shit? Fucking Kamaru Usman, one of the greatest fighters ever, one of, if not the best welterweight ever. And that shit right there just proves why scouting prospects is more fun than, you know, just watching the top level fighters, because you get to know these guys and then you get to tell your friends, yeah, I saw Kamaru Usman on the fucking prelims back in the day. I remember whenever he beat Emil Mech and it was boring as fuck, and he said, yeah, that's me at 30%. That's me at 30%. Imagine me at 100. And he got booed out of the fucking building, okay? I remember that shit. And that's what builds the storylines. That's what keeps me like involved with all these guys and following them all the way to the top. It's just so fun. And you have to be watching the Contender Series to be able to do that, because the Contender Series is so fucking good, and you're seeing all the future stars of the sport, and, you know, just some fucking bangers every fucking Tuesday. There's nothing like it. You know, you get home from work, you throw on the Contender Series, you get yourself a nice little meal, you smoke a little smoke, and then you watch some banger ass fights at like 2 a.m. That's one of my favorite things, and I wish they could do it more. I'm really, really hoping that 2026 they decide to do 2 seasons of Contender Series a year, because that show is fucking awesome, and it is way, way better than any of the UFC cards I've seen this year. Like I literally will put any of the Contender Series cards from this season, except for week 1, up against any of the UFC cards this year, and it beats all of them except for maybe a couple. Like the UFC, every once in a while they'll put on a banger, but for the most part, it's like, you know, there's a couple good fights and most of them are skippable. But Contender Series, that is a must-watch show. You cannot skip any of the fights because it's always a fucking banger. Okay, enough about that. Next hot take to talk about the UFC rankings don't mean fucking shit. Okay, this one kind of goes along with what I said about the champion not always being the best fighter in the division, but like these rankings are just fucking stupid and they make no sense. Like, lightweight, pretty much everybody just moved up by one because they finally removed Islam from the rankings. I don't know why he was even there. He vacated the belt and said he was moving up to welterweight and not coming back, but they insist on keeping him there for no reason until he finally wins the belt, just stalling the division. And then finally everyone moves up by one. Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. These guys all should have been up by one already anyways. Welterweight, pretty much the exact opposite. Islam moves in, everybody goes down by one. Like, it's just like, it's so stupid. The rankings don't mean shit. There's guys who are ranked above guys who they've lost to. Like, Nasruddin Imavov lost to Sean Strickland just a couple years ago, but for some reason he's ranked above him. Doesn't make any sense. Yeah, just a bunch of other, like, the rankings don't mean shit. It's just a fucking number next to a name that the UFC can use to promote the cards. That's all it really is. Like, we got these, like I said earlier, we got absolute jabronis for, like, fucking John Morgan from MMA Junkie and guys like that who are the ones that are making these rankings. And it's just so stupid. Like, I don't know why the UFC doesn't just make their own, because it doesn't mean shit. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. Just let them say whoever is ranked whatever. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. Real ones know that whoever the number one is usually not really the number one contender. Whoever's number 5 is usually not number 5. And guys in the top, in the 10 to 15 range, those guys could easily be top 5 on any given day. Like, I've said it in my last video, but like in the UFC, these guys are all elite, and anybody in this UFC top 15 can beat anybody else in the top 15 on any given day. They are all fucking elite fighters who are super skilled, and there's so much more that goes into a fight than just, who's ranked higher and, all this bullshit. Like, you can go into a fight with a cold. You could have had the flu last week. You could have, a sore thigh or some bullshit and that's going to affect the fight. Like, shit like that is what matters. It's not the rankings. The rankings don't mean fucking shit. Paddy Pimblett is top 5 now. So he beat Michael Chandler. I just saw this thing on Twitter earlier. He beat Michael Chandler in April or May or whatever it was, and he was ranked number 8 after that Michael Chandler win, right? And slowly but surely, he's just been making his way up the rankings ever since. Hasn't fought once, and somehow now all of a sudden is top 5. Like, it's just so stupid. These guys literally just will randomly move each other up for no reason. Guys will get removed from the rankings for no reason. Like Kai Kara France, I just saw earlier today too. For some reason, he got removed from the rankings. I don't know why, if he got suspended or if maybe he's out of contract with the UFC right now and working to re-sign. I don't know what it is, but he randomly got removed from the rankings, and so everybody just automatically moves up by 1 at flyweight. Like, it's just so stupid. These rankings don't mean jack squat, and I don't know why the UFC just doesn't make their own, and they're still letting the jabroni reporters who ask the stupid questions, they're letting them make the rankings for no fucking reason. These guys don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And yeah, the rankings don't mean jack shit. Real ones know that. Next one to talk about. This one might be a little bit of a cold take. Honestly, I feel like a lot of people would agree with this. I just had to put one that I thought people would agree with. I couldn't I couldn't have you guys pissed off at me about every single take. Okay, but grounded knees and soccer kicks to the head should be legal. I mean, this shit is badass. Look at this KO right here. Whenever Adriano Moraes knocked out Demetrius Johnson in ONE FC. That shit was fucking awesome. And just if you love violence, you're gonna love this shit. I don't understand why this is illegal. It's proven in other organizations that it's not that dangerous. It's not that big of a deal. Why are we allowed to kick each other and knee each other in the face while we're standing, but not on the ground? It just doesn't make sense when you think about it. And and also to a degree, it kind of just limits what the guys are able to do to each other. There's so many times when you're watching a fight, right, and these guys are up against the cage, and the guy has one knee on the ground, and you're like knee him, and then it's oh wait, no, he can't. He can't knee him, and you can tell the guy wants to, and he's trying to figure out a way that he can fucking hurt his opponent, but he can't because it's fucking illegal for no fucking reason. And it also allows these guys to be passive little bitches, and say they don't want to get kneed against the cage, just put your knee on the ground, you're good, you're safe. It's just so stupid. You shouldn't be able to limit the fighters and be able to save yourself from damage by just putting your knee on the ground. And I just think it's stupid. I think this shit should be legal. It's badass. One thing, I think stomps to the face on the ground should totally stay legal. I think that shit is a little too brutal, a little too street fight, dirty tactic. But soccer kicks and knees to the head on the ground should absolutely be legal. I'm tired of seeing these fighters be limited by the rule set, and they should just be allowed to beat the fuck out of their opponents however they can and not be limited by this arbitrary ass rule set. So yeah, that one's a bit of a cold take. Let me know down in the comments if you disagree, though. I feel like most people would agree with that. All right, last one to talk about here. The White House card is the worst thing to happen to the UFC in 2025. Now, this might be the hottest take of the video. I know everybody is fucking in love with the White House card. They can't wait for this shit next year. And like, listen, I think the White House card is cool. I think it's going to be a cool event for sure. It's definitely not going to look like this, okay? They're not going to have that many fucking people there. It's going to be Dana and Trump and Kash Patel and like the cabinet and like a few other politicians, maybe some diplomats from around the world. That's all it's going to be. It's definitely not going to be some grandiose event like this. And also watch them do this fucking event right in the the front yard of the White House, and then it fucking rains that day, okay? I mean, what happens if it fucking rains on the day of the White House card? That's what I want to know. But there's two main reasons that I think the White House card is the worst thing to happen to the UFC in 2025, and that like this shit has just been absolutely annoying me since they have announced this shit. One is that every fucking fighter, every single post-fight interview now is getting on their interview and calling somebody out, saying they want to be on the White House card. And it's just fucking annoying. I'm tired of fucking hearing about it. I'm tired of the UFC being made into some fucking political circus about the White House and all these guys glazing, trying to get on the White House card. First of all, the White House card is still like 8 months away. Like, it's almost a year away. And these guys are like talking about wanting to fight on the White House card, calling people out for matchups for it. You guys need to be fighting before the White House card, okay? We're talking about June of next year, okay? Someone who's winning in fucking, there's people who've been winning since like months ago, and they're trying to call people out for the White House card. Corey Sandhagen's talking about fighting Sean O'Malley at the White House. Fucking everyone's talking about fighting at the White House, right? And it doesn't make any sense. Like, you need to fight before then, and then maybe you can get on the White House card after that. Like, it's just so stupid. Every fucking fighter is talking about the White House card, and it's fucking annoying. Every fighter interview you watch, these fucking annoying ass journalists, they can't come up with better, actual good questions. So they're, hey, the White House card's coming up next year. Would you want to fight on the White House card? How would you feel about, like, what are you supposed to say to that? No, I don't want to fight on the White House card. The biggest card of all time with the most eyes on it ever. Yeah, I don't want to fight on that. Or who would you want to fight on the White House card? You're an American. Who would you want to fight? It's just like so stupid. Like, they're asking the most ridiculous fucking questions about the White House card, and it's fucking annoying. I'm tired of hearing about it. I'm tired of every fucking fighter wanting to fight on this shit when it's literally 8 months away. Okay, we need to be talking about fighting, okay, not about the fucking White House, okay? Just shut the fuck up, and whenever it comes, you'll get on it if you'll get on it, and if not, who fucking cares, bro? It doesn't fucking matter. This shit probably won't even fucking happen in the first place anyways. Like, look at this. You really think they're gonna fucking build this in front of the White House, bro? I don't think so. It would definitely be cool to see, but I'm not 100% sold on the fact that it even happens in the first place. And if it does, these guys just need to shut the fuck up until we're a couple months away, and they need to fight before the White House card. And then the second reason that I think the White House card is the worst thing to happen to the UFC in 2025 is it's allowing for these fucking absolute bums like Conor McGregor and John Jones to stay fucking relevant, to cling to one last bit of relevance because they're trying to get on the White House card. Like, if you guys only want to come back to fight on the White House card, stay the fuck away, bro. Stay the fuck away. Like, we don't fucking want you here. We don't care about you anymore. We've moved on from both of your bum asses, and this is the last thing you're clinging to keep relevant, and it's just so fucking annoying. Like, if you want to fight, come fight in an actual fucking card, not just coming back for some fucking political circus fucking Trump rally. Like, it's just absolutely stupid that we're allowing these guys to come out here and fucking talk about this shit. And the fact that the UFC is even considering it is fucking annoying. Like, I saw the other day that Dana accepted John Jones' apology, so we're probably going to end up seeing John Jones versus, like, Alex Pereira as the main event of the White House card. And if that fucking happens, I will absolutely still be watching, but I will be mad about it, okay? We do not want John Jones on the fucking White House card, especially not as the fucking main event. Keep him the fuck away, especially. McGregor, I'd be a little bit more accepting, but I was talking to my boy Nate about this yesterday. I love McGregor. I'm a huge fan of him and everything he's done for the sport, everything he's accomplished, but I'm ready to fucking move on. I'm tired of the McGregor experiment. He's fucking done. Even if he does come back and fight again, bro, he's fucking washed now, and he's not as good as he used to be. And I don't care to see him fight, bro. I'm ready to move on from Conor McGregor. And I'm tired of hearing him and Michael Chandler talk about fighting each other on the stupid fucking White House card, which is still 8 fucking months away. Like, let's get some actual fucking, like, fights going for you guys first, and then maybe we can talk about putting you on the White House card. But for now, just shut the fuck up and quit using this White House card as the last fucking bit effort to cling to relevance. It's just getting fucking annoying. And yeah, the White House card is cool, but I just think it's annoying hearing about it all the fucking time. It's still so far away. And we have other fights to focus on before we get to this shit. We have the huge Paramount deal coming up. We have the end of 2025, UFC 323. There's so much more important shit to be talking about other than the White House card. And that's all anybody wants to talk about. Anytime Dana gets on the post-fight press comments, hey, Dana, is Conor McGregor going to be fighting at the White House? Shut up! Ask him a real fucking question. Ask him about the fucking lawsuit that's going on. Ask him about the Muhammad Ali Act trying to trying to get eradicated. Like, ask him some real fucking journalistic questions and not, hey, Dana, who's John Jones going to be fighting at the White House card? Is Trump going to be at the White House? Shut the fuck up, dude. Genuinely, you guys are so annoying, and just quit fucking talking about this shit. It's so stupid. It's literally so far away. It may or may not even fucking end up happening, and I don't know why we're wasting our time talking about this shit. It's just so stupid. But yeah, those are my hot takes. Let me know how much you disagree with them down in the comments. This shit may or may not have been designed just to rage bait you guys, but I hope I made a good case for all of these hot takes. I honestly believe in just about all of these to an extent, if not exactly what I said in this video. So yeah, let me know down in the comments how much you disagree. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. Definitely go down and subscribe. We're on the road to 250. Or no, sorry, we hit 250. We're on the road to 500 subscribers. So hop in, get on the bandwagon now while you can before I get big. Yeah, and if you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget to go down, drop a like, leave a comment, hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell, become a channel member, hype the video, share this shit on Facebook, and create a second account and then repeat those steps for me. If you're not doing those things, you're just a straight up fucking casual. With all due respect, if you want to be a hardcore, you got to be subscribed to this channel. Like all of my beautiful, amazing subscribers who I love very, very much. Make sure to go follow me on Instagram at tnasty_MMA for the Tnasty t-shirt giveaway. Make sure to go follow me on Twitter at TrentonJXNES to see me arguing with absolute losers about all of hot takes like these and more. And thank you guys so much for watching. I am out. Take it easy, gang.